Hi, my name is Corey Biazzo, and I'm a practicing American civil litigation attorney, and you are watching Executive Coup. In today's episode, we're going to discuss one of the most extraordinary developments in modern U.S. history: President Trump's unilateral order to strike Venezuelan flag civilian vessels on the high seas, killing approximately 27 people. The Trump administration insists that these were narco-terrorist targets, but it appears that they were unlawful summary executions that violate both U.S. and international law. Beginning on or around September 1st, 2025, U.S. warplanes and naval units struck multiple Venezuelan private vessels in the southern Caribbean. President Trump released a video of one attack, claiming the boats were operated by drug cartels linked to terrorism. Between September 2nd and October 14th, 2025, 5 additional strikes were carried out, killing an estimated 27 individuals. Many victims were purportedly fishermen or crew members. The Trump administration justified the killings by declaring drug cartels unlawful combatants in a non-international armed conflict. It's important to note that the U.S. Congress has received no formal request from the Trump administration for authorization for the use of military force in the region. Therefore, understandably, several congressional committees have accused the White House of violating the War Powers Resolution. Under Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution, only Congress may authorize war. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 allows the President to introduce U.S. forces into hostilities only when Congress authorizes it or when the United States is attacked. Neither condition exists here. Venezuela did not attack the United States, and no congressional authorization was provided that permitted the Trump administration to use military force against anyone in the Caribbean. I concur with the New York City Bar Association's report on these killings that refers to them as, quote, unlawful summary executions. This makes sense in light of the fact that U.S. law, specifically 14 United States Code, Section 522, delegates law enforcement tasks on the high seas, including drug interdiction, to the U.S. Coast Guard, not to the U.S. Navy, who appears to have carried out these unlawful summary executions at the order of the Trump administration. By ordering lethal strikes in international waters absent military invasion or congressional authorization, the President exceeded his statutory authority and bypassed due process requirements for arrests pursuant to the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. International law adds another layer. Article 2, subsection 4 of the United Nations Charter prohibits the threat or use of force except in self-defense or Security Council authorization. The OAS Charter echoes this ban among Western Hemisphere nations. No such justifications for use of force applies here. At the United Nations Security Council, multiple nations condemned the attacks as, quote, extrajudicial killings and urged immediate de-escalation. Venezuela filed a formal complaint while President Maduro mobilized troops and launched nationwide military exercises. Neighboring countries expressed fear that this use of lethal force set a precedent for unilateral counter-narco-terrorism wars without international mandate. The White House now describes the situation as, quote, an evolving armed conflict. Bipartisan leaders in Congress, including the ranking members of Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, Intelligence, and Homeland Security Committees, issued a joint statement accusing the president of dangerous escalation absent constitutional authority. Their concern is if the president can declare global armed conflict against narcotics traffickers, he can wage endless war anywhere without Congress. Civil liberties organizations argue that this redefinition of combatant undermines both the Fifth Amendment right to due process and the separation of powers central to civilian control of the military. The legal question remains unanswered. Under what authority can a president unilaterally kill foreign civilians outside of an authorized war? The last unilateral naval bombardment ordered without congressional sanction was in the 1970 Cambodia campaign, and that helped trigger the War Powers Resolution itself. Now, 55 years later, the same law built to curb unchecked executive warfare is being ignored again. This time, however, the targets are not state militaries, but small civilian watercraft. Unchecked, this new theory that merges the war on drugs and the war on terror into a single domestic and foreign battlefield, rendering Congress irrelevant. If the presidency can kill suspected criminals abroad at will, nothing prevents the same justification from being invoked at home. This is not about Venezuela. It's about whether any individual anywhere can be killed by an American president's ordered execution without a trial. Keep following Executive Coup for further updates on this matter and others related to the apparent executive coup attempt that is unfolding in the U.S. federal government at the direction of President Donald J. Trump. Thank you.